The Cincinnati Bengals, to me, have officially arrived. Win or lose Super Bowl 56, I believe the Cincinnati Bengals, led by Joe Burrow, have officially arrived. I think the Cincinnati Bengals are actually ahead of schedule, people, because the first year Joe Burrow gets drafted, he gets hurt, shows flashes when he plays, but he gets hurt. They end up with a top 5 pick. And people thought that, man, the Bengals need to get their offensive line together. We don't know how great Joe Burrow is going to be coming off this injury. What's it going to look like? Are the Cincinnati Bengals going to build a great team around Joe Burrow? What's going to happen? Well, it turns out a year later after Joe Burrow's injury, he's playing in a Super Bowl. And win or lose Super Bowl 56, the Cincinnati Bengals, to me, are here to stay. They've officially arrived. First of all, Joe Burrow, to me, is an elite quarterback. He does elite things. When things are wrong, he can make it right. Meaning, if the offensive line isn't protecting him very well, if there's tight window throws to be made, he can execute those tight window throws. He can elevate the players around him. Joe Burrow is that dude at quarterback. I believe in Joe Burrow. I think he's proved his worth. He's only in his second season. He's already led this team to a Super Bowl in a very tough division and a very tough AFC. I think Joe Burrow's only going to get better. But the key thing is, we knew Joe Burrow was great. He was the first overall pick of his draft class. And unless you, for whatever reason, thought Tua Tagovailoa was a threat to Joe Burrow, which I never thought he was. I thought Tua was a very overrated prospect at quarterback coming out of Alabama. Most people thought Joe Burrow was the guy, okay? We wondered, could Cincinnati build a real team around him? And Mike Brown, the owner of the Cincinnati Bengals, has gotten a lot of criticism, and rightfully so, because it's been a long, long time since the Cincinnati Bengals have won multiple playoff games and have even played in a Super Bowl. But Mike Brown and the Bengals decided we're going to get the quarterback in Joe Burrow, and we're going to build around him. We're going to put great weapons around him. We're going to draft Jamar Chase, who's been excellent. We're going to draft T. Higgins, who's been excellent. We're going to keep Tyler Boyd involved. We're going to keep getting Joe Mixon involved. And we're going to spend some money on defense, because I always said, if you have a great quarterback, give him a good defense, because more times than not, if you have an elite quarterback, and I think Joe Burrow already is in that elite conversation, I really do firmly believe that, most of the time, they can figure out the offense. Just keep getting them the ball back, and they'll reward you. Very similar to how Tom Brady rewarded the Patriots for consistently getting him good defenses. Same thing with Joe Montana. Same thing with Terry Bradshaw. There's a trend with these dynasties and these all-time great quarterbacks that have won multiple Super Bowls. They always had great defenses. And last but not least, I got to give him his flowers. I don't know if Zach Taylor is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals head coach of the future for the foreseeable future, but he's done a very good job. You look at Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur, the Green Bay Packers head coach, has been there for 3 years, and he's had Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. And he hasn't been to a Super Bowl. So we have to give Zach Taylor some credit here, people. He was very criticized. A lot of people didn't really know who he was when the Bengals hired him, and he's won me over. I'm not saying I'm all the way on the Zach Taylor hype train, but I got to give the guy a lot of credit, because a lot of people did not expect this from him. He's done a great job of developing Joe Burrow. And whether it be Joe Burrow developing himself or Zach Taylor helping him out, the bottom line is things are working. This team has gotten to a Super Bowl. And here's the thing. Even if Zach Taylor isn't the future head coach for the Bengals, guess what? There's going to be a head coach out there, and a good head coach out there, that would flock to go coach Joe Burrow and get this core of players for the Cincinnati Bengals. Worst case scenario, if Zach Taylor gets fired in the next 3 to 4 years, there will be a head coach out there that will flock to Cincinnati. I guarantee you it's a great situation to be in. Really, all Cincinnati needs is an offensive line and a couple more players on defense. And I think they're set up to be a really good, if not dominating team for the next decade. So, to me, look, when Joe Burrow was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals, even before he was drafted, actually, before Joe Burrow played a single snap for the Cincinnati Bengals, I came out and said, look, I think the Bengals are going to draft this guy, and if the Bengals draft Joe Burrow, he will win them a Super Bowl. I don't know if the Bengals are going to overcome the Rams. I think the Rams are a very good team, but I could see it. It's definitely possible because they're there already. They've proved a lot of people, including myself, wrong up to this point, but it's one of those things where I expect at some point Joe Burrow will win the Cincinnati Bengals a Super Bowl, whether it's in Super Bowl 56 or in Super Bowl 66. I think it's going to happen at some point, but regardless, to me, The Cincinnati Bengals, they've officially arrived. You can now officially take them serious. You can take the sticker of bad organization off of them because they're an established team now. I think they're here to stay, led by Joe Burrow and an organization that, to me, has done some underrated things to elevate a young quarterback that had a lot of talent coming into the league, as we knew.
Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.